Hey everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I hope you guys are well and in very good health. Last week I mentioned that I was gonna take a week off from shooting any video vlogs and analyzing cricket. This is due to I volunteering down at the Commonwealth Youth Games, and about a few hours ago I finished up volunteering at the games. Today was the last day for the games, with the closing ceremony tomorrow over in the sister isle Tobago. And I must say, first and foremost, the experience at volunteering at Commonwealth Youth Games was an absolute pleasure to volunteer. And overall, it was a wonderful, magnificent experience, getting to meet new people and helping out. And of course, I have to share a couple of things as well too. So I think day before yesterday, I was on the track and I did manage to help the medical doctors stretch an athlete from St. Kitts and Nevis into an ambulance after he had injured his hip. And something similar almost happened today. This time a Canadian athlete who had ran the 800 meters nearly passed out, and myself and the Canadian trainer, along with another volunteer, we managed to get him on the inside without passing out, and I can happily say he is doing alright. It was just cramps and boiling heat. Now, you may probably know that Canadians do run on chillier conditions because out there is more warmer than here in the Caribbean. And I have to say, Tobago and Trinidad, or should I say Trinidad and Tobago, are extremely hot this time of the year. That's because between March to around October, the temperatures reach to very high limits. And when it comes to the cooler times of the year, going into Christmas, into early parts of Carnival, that's where the temperatures drop drastically. But overall, coming back to volunteering at the youth games, it was an absolute pleasure doing it. And if any more hosting gigs or any volunteering gigs come up, I will fully accept it with welcome arms. With all of that said, let's get right into it, folks. And we have to talk West Indies versus India and look back at the first three T20s. And also, I also want to share my thoughts not only on the three T20s but also Pakistan selecting a new chief selector and its team for the Afghanistan series, and also the Asia Cup, which bowls off at the end of the month in Pakistan and Sri Lanka. And I already pointed out to my viewers that I'll be supporting India and Pakistan for the men's 50 over cricket World Cup because they are both my favorite teams and they are subcontinental rivals. So, number one, I want to talk West Indies versus India first of all. Now, before the start of the T20 series between the men in maroon and the men in blue, I made a prediction that the men in blue India was going to comprehensively decimate the home team. But you never know what to expect when it comes to entertaining Slam Bang T20. For the first time in quite a long time I should say, West Indies are leading in a 5-match T20 series. Now, it was originally supposed to be 3 matches. Then back in March this year, both the BCCI and Cricket West Indies agreed to extend it to 5 games. And due to 2 things. One, Florida is expected to host games in next year's ICC Men's World T20 here in the West Indies and the US. And 2, also for preparations for next year's World Cup as well. That was one of the other main reasons why. And let me just say this, West Indies defeating India nowadays is rare. And it is kind of rare to see India faltering whenever they have a bad day. Because every time when India are performing well, you're always getting praise. And whenever they always go down in defeat, there's always criticism from all sides of their media. But let me talk about this. When Hardik Pandya 2 years ago said that India can field 3 international teams at the same time, a lot of people was saying at that time it was facts. But let me tell you something, Mr. Pandya. You rightfully criticized West Indies Cricket Board about the facilities and the venues here in the Caribbean. Well, let me tell you something. Whenever you're overconfident, it can lead to disaster. And the same thing happened recently when the U.S. women's national football team failed to qualify for the quarterfinals of the FIFA Women's World Cup in Australia and New Zealand. If I recall, they were defeated by Sweden in the penalty shootout. And I was very glad for the US to go because this was one of the worst World Cups that the WNT team from the US had. And I know there's going to be Operation Cleanup and a lot of criticism out of that, which has already come and gone. But coming back to the cricket, the opening game of the 5-match series saw an absolute cliffhanger with West Indies coming away with a nail-biting 4-run victory after defending less than 150 runs. 40s from captain Nicholas Puran and Rovman Powell, or should I say former captain Nicholas Puran and current T20 captain Rovman Powell, got them to 149, and in reply, India fell 4 runs shy, finishing on 145 for 9, despite at one point keeping up with the required rate when Tilak Verma, who was making his T20 international debut on the day, and Surya Kumar Yadav were out there. Jason Holder's 2 for 15. Now, Jason Holder was one who I criticized in the past for underperforming, especially when they had Cricket World Cup qualifiers a month or two back. He came good in that all-important moment of the match when he took the big wicket of Hardik Pandya. Now, keep in mind, he had took a wicket earlier on in the game. And don't forget, in the first innings too, one of the other real reasons why India lost the first game was the 4 wides from Arshdeep Singh, which was another reason why it was the difference between the two sides. Coming to game 2 in Providence, Georgetown, Guyana, it was another nail-biter. And I want to talk about Tilak Verma. And I want to just say this about Tilak Verma. Excuse me. He is the future of India's white ball plans in the middle order. And why I'm saying that, he demonstrated why by scoring his first international half century in just his second international match. And just to let you know, folks, for those of you all who haven't watched this year's Indian Premier League, the IPL, he was one of the products coming out of 2023 IPL and was one of Mumbai Indians' top run scorers in the 2023 season. Now, I don't have the stats with me right now, but whenever I'm talking about him the next time, I will have the stats with you all. But Hardik Pandya's brilliant heroics at the back end took India to a competitive 152 for 7, which we all thought was a competitive total. However, talking about 152, here's a cricket confession, my friends. This is the same 152 that the Pakistan men's cricket team chased without losing a wicket to defeat India in the ICC Men's World T20 in the United Arab Emirates almost 2 years ago. And on that day, Babar Azam and Mohammad Rizwan scored half centuries and kept India at bay. Now, Virat Kohli's half century earlier on was all in vain when Shaheen, I think, took 3 for 31 and was adjudged the player of the match. And at that point, that where it went all the way downhill for the Indian men's team. And that's how they got knocked out in the first round. Those 2 defeats to Pakistan and New Zealand. And the other victories was just against minnows. So, who that cap fits, let them wear it. Now, coming back to the second game now, there was chaos, class, bacchanal and drama in the West Indies chase. And I'm saying this because the home team lost 2 early wickets for only 12 runs on the board. Then it was the Nicholas Puran show once again. The former captain blasted his way to 67 of 40 deliveries. And talking about chaos and drama, West Indies in the middle to the back end lost 4 wickets for just 3 runs in more than 2 overs, or should I say 13 balls respectively. Then it was the turn of the tail enders in Akil Hussain and Azali Joseph, who held their calm and composure, guiding men in maroon over the finishing line and taking them to a 2-0 series lead. Coming into the all-important game for India, and with the series on the line, the men in maroon's good old dominance in knockout games in bilateral matches returned as Surya Kumar Yadav made a much required return to form with the bat with a top class knock of 83 runs and an undefeated 49 from Tilak Verma, guiding India to an easy 7-wicket victory. And with the last two games now heading to South Florida, or should I say Central Broward County, for the two double-header games on Saturday and Sunday, expect massive crowd turnouts for India, and this is due to the fact that there are a lot of Indians living in the United States of America. And the last time when India played in Florida, they won the last two games of the 5-match series last year to take the series 4 matches to 1. And at that time, West Indies was outnumbered and underperforming very badly in T20s. And the same thing is likely to happen. But can the West Indies men's team wrap it up? All that would be told on Saturday. Moving away from India West Indies T20s, and all the talk has been about what's been happening in the Pakistan Cricket Board, aka the PCB. The main talk of the town was another change in the chief selecting department inside of PCB, and this time we are talking about INZAMAM ul Haq, aka INZI. You all remember INZI for having more than 8,000 plus test runs and was Pakistan's former captain between 2003 to the 2007 World Cup. INZI, who you all may remember, served as chief selector for the Pakistan team between 2016 to 2019 and was a part of the recent committee established by Zakir Ashraf, which included Misbah ul Haq as the head and Mohammad Hafiz, two of former Pakistan's captains and senior pros, selected INZAMAM ul Haq as chief selector of the Pakistan men's team, and his first item up for bids was to select the team for the Afghanistan series and the Asia Cup. So folks, this is the team that the Pakistani selectors have announced. They have gone in with 3 openers in Abdullah Shafiq, Fakhar Zaman and Imam ul Haq. The middle order is as follows: Baba Azam the captain, Salman Ali Agar, Iftikhar Ahmed, Tayyab Tahir and Saad Shakil, who will only be a part of the Pakistan team for the Afghanistan series, and the wicketkeepers Mohammad Rizwan, the vice captain, and Mohammad Haris. In the spinning department, Shadab Khan, who by the correction is the vice captain, Mohammad Nawaz and Usama Mir. Fahim Ashraf is the only all-rounder in the team, making a comeback after 2 years. And the pace attack will be led by the Eagle Shaheen Shah Afridi, Haris Ralph, Muhammad Wasim Jr. and Nasim Shah. So 3 of Pakistan's main bowlers are in the lineup. They can't drop them anytime because that will be riot. Tayyab Tahir, Fahim Ashraf and Shad Shakil have been included into the team for the Afghanistan series, while Shan Masoor and Inshan Ullah Khan are the 2 players from the team that played New Zealand in the 5 ODIs in Rawalpindi and Karachi respectively back in April and May, who were the ones to miss out. And with that being said, CPL team Guyana Amazon Warriors will have to look for a replacement for Mohammad Haris, who is now all but unavailable for the CPL. And looking at the Pakistani team, I'm kind of unimpressed by the inclusion of Fahim Ashraf, and I do not know what has gone into INZAMAM's mind by selecting Fahim, but let me just say this: last time when I saw his stats, he only averaged 11 with the bat and 40 something with the ball. Who on earth would select a player inside of the Pakistani team? Now, for me, Fahim is more for test match cricket and also for the T20 format. I don't know who inside of INZAMAM's head and the coaching staff in Grant Bradford and Mickey Arthur went with Fahim Ashraf. Is this on the base of favoritism because how he plays for Islamabad United in the PSL, or is it just because of the roti group? I want answers. And let me just go on and say this even further. It's a bit similar to Cricket West Indies selector Desmond Haynes selecting fellow countryman from Barbados Roston Chase for nothing. talking about Roshan Chase and Fahim Ashraf, these two does never perform for their respective countries except for when it comes to domestic cricket. Like for example, Fahim plays for Islamabad United in the BSL and also for Chanchal Punjab. And Roshan Chase also plays for Barbados in the first class and 50 over cricket, and also for the Kings, the St. Lucia Kings in CPL. And he never performs unless it's the domestic scene. Excuse me, that was just a tear two out of my eye. But overall, I'm very happy for Shad Shakil and Tayyad Tahir. They deserve a well-deserved call-up. Now Shad Shakil scored that double hundred against Sri Lanka recently, and Tayyad Tahir was a part of the Pakistan Shaheen's team led by Mohammad Haris, who went all the way in winning the Emerging Players Asia Cup and was that man who scored that brilliant 100 against India A in the final, which took them to the title. And talking about Abdullah Shafiq, he has been one of the backup batters for Pakistan of late and has been playing a lot of aggressive red ball cricket in the test match department when Pakistan was in Sri Lanka not too long ago when they swept them 2-0. And his inclusion is definitely going to boost the Pakistani batting lineup. But the problem is, who's going to open? Because you already have Fakar and Imab. But in my view, you gotta alternate, and this is the last chance that Pakistan has before the Asia Cup and the World Cup. So I wouldn't be surprised that Abdullah Shafiq doesn't get a game. But nevertheless, I'm gonna wrap up this video right now. So best of luck for Pakistan in the series against Afghanistan and the Asia Cup. Now I will be following those two main series with interest, and good luck to West Indies and India in their last two T20s in Florida. Now folks, in the next video we'll be talking CPL cricket, aka the biggest party in sport, and I might try and have a special guest in the video, who knows. So guys, until we meet again, stay safe, be good and be cool. Thank you.